Can you believe it? Just 18 minutes before we end the show. Now, in today's alternative investment environment, we're talking impact investing in Southern Africa. And according to the international report by the Global Impact Investment Network, the market is worth $15 billion. In the studio to discuss more with me is Group Chief Executive Officer of Fedgroup, Grant Field. Grant, the question has to begin with the guy who's going to help create the environment in which you are trying to get more impact investment. Do you like him?
Absolutely. I think that it's exciting times. I think it's moving times, and hopefully this is one that will last a little bit longer.
Hopefully he'll be able to make it last longer.
That's right.
Do you think it's good for impact investing, or it doesn't matter from your perspective?
I think that a stable environment is important regardless.
Will you bring it?
I believe so. I think that you just have to look at the rand and the way it's improved today, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in South Africa, and I think that as we start to stabilize the environment more generally, there's a lot of opportunity, and therefore if there's opportunity to include investments into impact.
Yeah. So let's begin by perhaps just looking at where impact investing is in Southern Africa. Where are we? Are we in that spot where perhaps people are more aware of it, or is this something that we talk about that we hope comes in?
I think it's a worldwide trend that people are starting to care about the environment more, whether it be from an investment point of view or even just consumer trends, whether you look at what's happened in Cape Town in terms of saving water, or if you look at straws even, and just how important that's becoming.
Maybe just define it first.
Impact is really where you invest in something that makes a difference. So if you think of the triple bottom line, people, planet, and profit. So it's not just investing in something that makes us profit, but we care about jobs, we care about the environment too. And so, if you really look at that as a trend, people do care more and more about the environment, about jobs, and around sustainability. And therefore, if they care about it, they put their money behind it.
Absolutely.
And then I think South Africa, growing on that global trend, South Africa is 70% of the entire of Africa from an impact point of view. So from an Africa perspective, South Africa is very important.
Absolutely. So when you look at the triple Ps that you spoke about, and you look at in the environment in which we are in as a country at the moment, I mean, the country was in a recession in the first 6 months of the year. Hopefully we got out of that in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter. But when you look at it from that perspective, do you see a conflict between impact investment, focusing on impact investments, as opposed to simply focusing on investing and creating jobs because we're desperate?
I think there's not a single silver bullet. I think that ultimately we have to fix many problems across the landscape. And one of the items that's important is that we care about the environment as well. If we just focus on today, then we will not have a future. But at the same time, you can't be just totally future focused. So I realize that there's a whole spectrum that one has to look at. And therefore, it's not the one thing that needs to be looked at. It is an important aspect.
The two are not mutually exclusive.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Absolutely.
Both of them are very important. And I think if you are able to grow a company, if you are able to invest in something that can be environmentally positive, then all the better.
Give me a couple of examples before we leave the interview, Grant, about the benefits of impact investments, because you speak about its impact to the grassroots, and when we speak about investment, sometimes we tend to focus at the big picture and at higher levels rather than at what's happening on the ground.
Well, I think if you look at, if you are a cool drink manufacturer and you're not looking at water and how you can make sure that you've got proper water to have a sustainable future, you really have no future. If you look at farming, if you just waste water as opposed to go to modern smart farming techniques, you really are doing less than you should do with the resources that are available.
So it makes business sense as well as taking care of the future. Grant, thanks for coming through.
Thank you very much.
That's Grant Field. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Fedgroup. Stay tuned. We have more Power Lunch after this.